This is episode 13. It's your Lifetime to Live It podcast. I have some special guests. They are real estate experts, but they're also close friends of ours for over 20 years. And we are live on location in the famous Playa Chiquita. So if you zoom in on the background and you want to see what beauty looks like, Caribbean beauty, it's easy to do. You have some boats in the background. If we're lucky enough, maybe we can get a cruise ship going by. You have Mount Isabel de Torres. Hopefully I said that correctly in the backdrop. And you also have your children going for a swim in the ocean. So life is pretty good right now.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Oh my goodness, our absolute pleasure. So guys, for anyone who's listening right now, tell us a little bit about your guys' background and I guess how we know each other.
So we are a young family. We've known you guys for 20 years, but we've got a small family. We have 2 children, 2 boys. We really enjoy the outdoors. We are major into hiking, running. Our boys play sports, immersed heavily into the sports. Our oldest plays basketball and our youngest is a great hockey player. So that gives you a bit of background.
Yeah, you know what? Bobby or Robert and I, Bobby's fine. All right. The professional name, Bobby and I, we met many, many years ago, mutual acquaintance. We started hanging out, 2 bachelors, kind of having a good time together. We hit it off. We created more friendships, meeting more people. And then right at the same time, we both met our beautiful wives, which would have been girlfriends. We kind of did our own thing for a little bit and then just always kind of circled back through the years. And we watched our children are pretty much the same age and our children all grew up, different places, but we always had time to kind of connect, which was nice. We, there would be sometimes we go a little stretch for a few years and it'd be sometimes a simple WhatsApp or a text. Yeah. And, as we saw you integrate your life coming into Dominican, it was something that we kind of watched on the radar and you said the same thing. You were watching our kids with sports and we always had that connection. And it was time where we were like, you know what, man, we got to come down. We got to see you. We got to visit you. We got to spend some time with your family. And that's why we're here today.
Well, thank you guys for making the trip down here. And it's amazing. I've always been a fan of your family. I think we have a lot in common, just the way that you guys parent and your children are super active, and the ages, we're just I think a year difference as far as our timeline goes. Yeah. So it's kind of amazing to see all the similarities that we share as a family together. And wow, does time ever go fast?
No kidding.
When you said 20 years.
I know, man. Wait, what? It doesn't feel like 20 years, but once you start doing the math and the kids and stuff, you're like, wow, 20 years. Yeah. That's impressive. That's definitely impressive. So you guys have been coming to the Dominican Republic for years. Yeah. You guys enjoy to travel and go to a bunch of different places, and you continue to come back to the Dominican Republic. Explain to me a little bit what you guys like about the Dominican Republic.
So you can take it off. Lorraine, she's a resort person and has always been.
Well, I feel like growing up, it was almost like you were conditioned like that way, right? You would book your family vacations, you would go to the resort and, you would be kind of everyone took care of you. Your food was ready, but the downfall is, if you wanted to do anything outside of the resort, you're taking a long bus ride, whether, it could be hours the Airbnb experience has been phenomenal. We've met so many great people in the Sosua Village community. We're walking distance to a lot. The gym, the boys have been able to spend a lot of time at the water park. So it's a completely different vibe, but we've always really loved the Dominican.
Yeah, one of the things we're Caribbean travelers for sure. I don't want to say world travelers. We're not big on Europe, at least at this point in our life, but we love the Caribbean, getting our feet in the sand. And Dominican, there's something about it, the people, the food. We love the food. And then we seem to go Dominican for a few years and then it's like, we should change it up, but we try somewhere else. And it's like, we got to go back to Dominican. And then, you do it for a few years and it's like, okay, let's go somewhere else. And that's like, okay, let's try somewhere else in Dominican, and then you start going all the different places. But we find that the experience, and we've been everywhere in Dominican, we find the experience, the hotel experience, the people were consistent. It didn't matter, Punta Cana, Puerto Plata, it was inviting. The food was consistent. The people were great. And we always came back refreshed, recharged, and just telling everybody, you got to go to it. Cancel your Jamaica vacation, go to Dominican. It's just one of those things that we found. We personally fell in love with Dominican.
That's amazing. And obviously we have as well, right? Being in the Dominican Republic, like for us, we're still discovering it. Like every year we try and dedicate some time for even ourselves to go to different spots and experience different things with the family. And being an active family like you guys, there's just so much to do. So you have to make me a commitment. Next time when you come back, we have a little bit more time together, right? So that way you can sleep in and take a little bit of an easy, because this one, I know that I'm putting you guys to the max right here. Let's go do this. Let's try this. Let's eat here. You need to meet this person. You need to do that, right? So hopefully you'll still be recharged when you go back home, right? But that's my goal, is to try and get you as much as possible, because it means so much that when your friends make the commitment to come down and visit you. And Catherine, looking back at like when we were in Canada to here, what was kind of the aha moment when you're like, oh my goodness, like we're here, like this is where we want to be full time?
I think it was COVID. I think for me, it was really speaking to like people back home, and my mom had to go live with my brother and still pay her rent so she wouldn't be by herself. So I think for me, that was the aha moment. I remember even when Bobby was like, met Brett and we were going to do Realtor DR, and he's like, I need to go all in. So I think we should sell our house back home. And I was like, okay. And he's like, wait, what? Like, okay. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, that's when I knew it was a 3-year plan. And I was already like, yeah, 3 years. Okay. It's going to go by fast. And then we reevaluate. But when COVID, that's when I was like, I don't want to be back in Canada. And I think that was my aha moment for me. Having our house back there was still our security blanket, because I was like, if anything goes wrong, we still have a place back home. And now it's funny because when I go to Canada, I'm like, I want to go home, and this is my home.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the kids are almost about half their life in both parts, right? And I'm proud to be Canadian, and we miss our family and our friends. There's that part of life. But now I think it's really cold where we are. And you can see over here, it's nice and warm. So when we do travel back, we always try and time it so that we don't have to ask our friends to bring us winter clothes. They pick us up at the airport.
Yeah.
We were going to Vegas, I think it was
last year.
Yeah.
And our flight got delayed. So we missed the connecting flight from Pearson, and we had to stay overnight there. But we didn't have any plans of staying overnight there. So literally we just like had a long sleeve shirt and like jogging pants, and it was cold.
Yep.
And it was snowing. So we had to like leave it. It was like 5 and it's like a big snowstorm happening. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't miss this. No,
I don't blame you.
Guys, I think I got to get my sunglasses. That Dominican sunshine's coming in.
Oh yeah, grab them. Absolutely. You got the better angle over here.
Yes, I got.
When we were doing the surf lesson, I'm like, Mark, we need some sunscreen on that puppy over there. Believe me, I know. And the sun over here, now it's popping out. I can feel it also. So hopefully there's not too much shine from my head hitting the camera. So yeah, definitely. I hope not. This one is a lot easier. I did a previous podcast, and I don't know if we'll throw a clip in there, but there was no shade, and it was like literally the hottest day of the year. We had to stop it every 10 minutes, and Joey would pass me a cloth to clean my forehead because I started sweating. So
Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca's one.
Yeah.
And who knows, we may get a little shower while we're out here too, right? So you'll get the full circle in this podcast in a matter of 45 minutes, a whole bunch of clouds and little rain and sunshine over there. Yeah,
exactly. Definitely better than snow.
Not only with our families do we have a lot in common, but our passion. And you guys are kicking some butt in real estate back home. I follow you guys. I love what you're doing. I love the philosophy. I love the content that you guys are sharing. Give me a little bit of background of like how you guys got into real estate and kind of where you guys are kind of today with your team and your personal branding and business.
Yeah. So I got into real estate over 10 years ago. Initially, my goal, I love interior design. So I love, decorating or staging. So I thought, okay, let's get into that. And I wanted to be self-employed. I did work for the corporate world for many years. And then I started having kids, and I wanted the flexibility and an easier lifestyle, so to speak. So, Mark and I, we flipped numerous homes before I was even licensed, but doing that and then having the staging, I just thought, okay, real estate, I'm going to sell homes. So I went and got my license, boom, 10 years later.
Well, essentially, she was just gonna do the real estate for our flips.
Right.
So we did 7 flips, and it was like, after the second, it's like, well, why don't we do one of these each year? We were in the market for it.
Yeah.
And so Lorraine's like, I'm like, why don't you just do that? We'll buy her home. At least you'll facilitate it.
Yep.
And she did the first one, and then you were like,
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, I joined a great brokerage. I met an amazing mentor who taught me a lot. And then I just got really busy really fast. And that's when Mark jumped on ship and provided a lot of help and insight. He has a different way of looking at things. So he was able to pick me up where I couldn't do some things. So,
the thing with real estate was, it was lifestyle. And I think that's where we connect. Aside from all the active sports and things that we do as families, your lifestyle decision was to come here. For Lorraine and I, we did something similar. It wasn't move countries, but it was like, our friends hustle, bustle, live in the city, go crazy. And Lorraine and I sat down and we said, okay, do you remember this conversation? We were sitting down at the dining room table. It was just the two of us. And I was just like working way too much. I had a few businesses going, and I'm just doing operations and kind of losing my mind. And I'm like, Lorraine, we need to go snowboarding. And she was like, look, like, you remember it.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, yeah, I can strap my skis on. When do you want to go? And we went out that one day because we hadn't done it in years. And we brought our kids. They were, this big. And we just said, we're going to figure it out. We'll get them lessons. Let's spend the day on the hill. And so we went, and we went close. We went in Whitby. They had Lake Ridge Ski Hill and Dagmar. So we were like, let's just go there. We went. We had the time of our life. Had poutine with the kids. We hadn't laughed so hard in so long. And we said, we're going to go every weekend. And then when the spring came, it was like, let's go mountain biking. Let's go hiking. And we fell in love with that life. And we were like, why are we doing this and then driving all the way here? I would rather drive to work. Yeah, I got to hate it and I got to go in or whatever. But as soon as Friday comes, or the weekend, or even Thursday night, I can be at the forest in 2 seconds, or I could be skiing in 1 second. And when we focused on lifestyle, Lorraine, and that's the key part that you missed out when you were saying she got really busy. It didn't just magically appear. She fell so passionately in love with listening to people and saying, I know what you need, a better life. It's not just the house, right? Because somebody would give you their budget and they'd say, okay, let's do this. And it's like, no, let me help you. Let's turn that frown upside down and let's get you what you need. And then it was that organic conversation. Same thing you're doing here, right? You're helping people, you're guiding people into a great decision in their life and a better lifestyle, one that you're living. So it's real.
No, that really resonates with me. And I think what I see from you guys and that I've always seen is that you guys have a good team, right? I credit a lot of my success. Maybe I'm a little bit sometimes in the face forward, but without all the support that Catherine's done, like for me, there would be no way that we would be where we are. And Catherine, talk a little bit about your journey, because I know that when Realtor DR started, I said, babe, you're coming on board. You're going to start with admin because we need help. And I know that you love helping people. Yeah. And you came on board with admin, but you transitioned. So talk a little bit about the transition. I think this is your first complete full year of working hands-on independently with clients. And you've had a wonderful, you've built wonderful relationships. You've had a bunch of sales. Talk to us about that transition and what it means to you.
Well, the transition to me was a little bit, it's different. For me, it's like, I don't like sales, if that makes sense. It makes me like uncomfortable. But I think with real estate, it's like what Lorraine was saying, is like, you like helping people. Like, I like to talk. I'm a talker. And it's when you start really listening to people and like hearing exactly what they want, it's like what you said, Mark. It's not about the house. It's about the lifestyle. Like when we talk to a lot of people, they don't start thinking about like, oh, I want to buy a house in Dominican. They start seeing like, the lifestyle that like we're living and what we're doing. And then they're like, okay, well, yeah, I do want to have that lifestyle with my family and I do want to change. And I think for me, it was, Bobby always says like, you got to listen. And I think when you start listening to people and seeing like what they're saying, that's where, for me, it changed. Because you're like, yeah, when they tell you like, yeah, I have this great house, you have a budget, blah, 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 blah. But then when you start really listening, and that's what our team is really like, you listen to the client exactly what they want, and you're like, oh yeah, I know it's this community and things like that. For me, I think the transitioning was more being like, not feeling like a salesperson, but actually knowing that what I'm doing, it is helping people. And, you know, you do get to become friends with clients and hang out with them, and it's cool. And there's clients where you're like, yeah, these are my people. And there's clients who are like, you know, very professional, and we keep that professional relationship. And I think that's what it was for me.
You know, it's funny you say that, because you know, how you say like, you know, I don't want to be sales. It makes me uncomfortable. When I first met Bobby, sales expert extraordinaire. No, like he used to drag me out to, and I'm going to say drag me out and to these events and these things like, hey man, you should come to this. You should come to this thing, listen to this guy speak. And I'm like, man, really again? He's like, dude, I got free tickets, or I got whatever. I know somebody. You should just come, better your life. Just be with me, right? And we would go. And I got to say, you know, I was naive in the beginning. I didn't trust that process. You would see Bobby excel in sales. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I asked him one day, we were out, and I'm like, man, how did you, like, he had told me, I don't know if you remember this, we were thinking of purchasing an investment property together. And he had said, I just landed this huge contract with a builder. I was selling, you know, refurnishing their places with a bunch of appliances and all this stuff. And I said to him, like, man, how do you land these contracts? Like, how did you do so well in sales? And his exact word is, I don't sell anything. I just help fix people's problems.
Pain points.
Yeah.
And it was that, you know, and it's funny, it's resonated. That was probably 15 years ago. And it's resonated within me this whole time. Sales, you're uncomfortable, but you're not selling anything. You're fixing people's problems. Sales is that like hard press, like, oh, sign here, buddy. That's when you're ripping someone off. But when you're actually helping somebody,
Passionate about it.
you're just guiding. Yeah.
Yes,
It really fails.
And I think, yeah, that's when I saw that we're the same thing. He's like, you're not selling anything. You're helping people. You're educating them. And I think that's when it was like, oh.
You look at it from a different lens.
I do. Yeah. And you know what? It's like Bobby always says, a no at the beginning is so much easier. Like, just like, no, I'm not interested. Great. Move on.
Yep.
Well, people also make their decisions based on emotions and then justify it with logic after, right? So for us and working with the team, you know, asking the first line of questions is great, but then digging deeper and like, why is that important to you? Why does that matter, right? Getting the why behind the why has been like so powerful, and really understanding the real reasons behind people's motivation, you know, I guess to make almost any decision, let alone an important one, like, you know, buying in with you guys, or moving out from the city to something that meets their lifestyle needs, or coming to the Dominican Republic and buying their first investment property, right? Now, I'm curious, with our combined experience, we're up there, okay? What is one thing that maybe you learned, okay, that you would share with somebody else who's maybe starting in the business? What would be a piece of advice?
You want me to take that one?
Go for it.
Learn everything you can. Ask real questions to people all the time. Take all that data, figure it out. Ask your friends, call your friends. Hey, if you were to do this, like, I'm going to talk sales, real estate, because that's what we're experts in. But you just call your family, call your friends. Hey, if you were to buy a house, what would be something you would be thinking of, right? And then you're going to, data's everything, right? We need to collect data. So collect all that data, and you're going to see there's a common, if you call 10 people, there's going to be 3 things that those 10 people all said the same. Go learn that. We have ChatGPT now, man. Go on ChatGPT, dive in a little deeper into what that is, where you can get the resources. And then the key thing is get a mentor or somebody that wants to help you, and people will do it for free.
Yeah.
Go knock on a door, go to the big brokerage near you, find somebody that's successful and say, hey man, can I shadow you? I'll do your open houses. I'll clean your car if you want me to. Whatever you need me to do, just help me get here. And then learn those basic steps, how to get information. And then once you have information, you can solve problems, and then you'll win.
I like the one point that you emphasized there is get a mentor. We've always had available to our entire team coaches from back in the day when I was dragging you out there. That was from world-renowned Bob Proctor. who I worked with for 7 years. We've worked with the Mike Ferry organization, Brian Eisenhower, recently Matt Easton. We're constantly listening to podcasts. You know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Maybe sharpen the saw and like apply it to like what's important here for our current like market over here.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to learn from others. I think that's the key. And, you know, for myself, I've done 20 transactions back home, maybe before like in our area, because it wasn't as close to you, but with Sam McDaddy, who is an icon in Toronto. And
amazing.
Man, I just learned I had the opportunity to work side by side, but being in the position of somebody who is either the buyer or seller, but from one of the best. And I'm like, wow, I really like the way he makes me feel. Like that whole entire experience can be an emotional roller coaster when you're buying or selling, you know, and Sam made it feel really easy. And he made me feel really confident that I had the right person representing me. And that's what we're trying to always bring to the table with our clients. And some of the things that we're working on the team is like when we're going through like a qualifying process or maybe a client is interviewing us, I always like for our team to ask them, what are you looking for in the brokerage and the agent, the ideal one, okay? And how would you know when you find that person?
Yeah.
And I find that if you ask people the right questions, you'll get answers that will point you in the right direction because everyone is different, right? So it's kind of being able to navigate that experience with them. And touching on that, what would you say are some of your core principles or philosophies when it comes to real estate, Lorraine?
Customer service and market knowledge. I mean, our job is to guide our clients every step of the way, and being able to be that first point of contact and to have them trust you. As you know, yes, we're helping them guide them through one of the biggest transitions or biggest financial decisions of their lives, but to not have the right person by your side, you want them to feel easy.
Yeah.
About it, right? So, I'm a strong believer in providing top-notch customer service and being the number one resource for anything that they're looking for. Yeah.
It's funny, Lorraine and I do something where if it's in our area, so we're noticing, you know, for years it was people moving from Toronto to Durham region. Now it's Durham to Northumberland for the better life. We sell the better life. I don't like to say sell. We guide you to the better life. So we've been working the Northumberland County a lot, Trent Hills, Cobourg, Port Hope area, all of those kind of locations. And we'll have the odd, you know, those areas we know very, very well. We've been part of those communities for a long time, but we'll have the odd person. We just had one recently. They're like, okay, we're coming in for a better life. We're able to work a little bit more remote, only have to go to the city sometimes. The question was, we love the gym. They're in their late 50s, moving into their 60s. They don't want to move again. They have, you know, we want half an acre. Our house has to look like this, but the gym is very important to us. And we had pointed out a few locations that match the home they want. But when they said gym, it was like, okay, wait a minute. I don't actually know. You know, they were looking commercial. The husband is in like muscle man, big shape, and he wants to be around people like that. It motivates him. The wife's very fit, and they didn't want a boutique little gym. And I said to Lorraine, I'm like, I don't know all the gyms. You know, there's probably 50 gyms in the area. So what do? Google every single one and went to all of them. And it's actually our newest. So coming at the end of January, we're actually doing a full YouTube series on Northumberland gyms. Because if they asked it, there might be somebody else.
Someone's thinking, yeah.
And if it goes nowhere, at least we did it for, you should see the PDF I gave our client. We created, you know, Lorraine, well, we got our assistant. Lorraine said, hey, put all these gyms in a nice thing together. Our assistant put this beautiful collage PDF together. We went by, Lorraine covered 25, I covered 25. We wrote down everything that we saw. And it was like, okay, we're seeing people in more shape here. This is, you know, a lot of bodybuilders. And when we got a call, when I sent that email to them and we got a call, they were like, man, really? You did this for us? And then I told them, I said, guys, before we do anything, you're going to make the biggest financial decision of your life. This is supposed to be for the rest of their life. I said, grab $1,500, Airbnb, 2 weekends. Here's the 3 areas I think you're going to get the best gym, the best quality of life. Here's a few Airbnb options, super affordable, kind of similar to what you're looking to live in. go here, try this one, go here, try this one. For $1,500 over 2 weekends, you're going to get to live it.
Yeah.
Day pass for the gym's $20. I let them know, and now they get to go do it, right? And as guys, that's our job, right? They're going to make whatever decision they make. It's going to be the right one. Yeah. They're going to be so happy. They're going to tell all their friends about it, but we're going to feel good about it.
And again, it comes down to listening, because that's what they were looking for. So it's, providing that service. Yeah.
If there's an agent that's watching this and you're struggling with your business or you're new, like literally pay attention to this episode over here, because success leaves clues, right? And what Mark is sharing with you, it's very similar to how we operate, right? When we're doing our digital content, we always try and focus on a right blend of lifestyle, community, and real estate, right? Those are our 3 pillars over there, and things like gyms. That's a common question we get all the time, right? For somebody who is really focused on taking care of their body and that's in their routine, they want to know, how close am I to the gym? It's one of the questions you asked me when you came down here. Hey, can I walk to a gym from here? And I'm like, yes, you can, right? And that was like, awesome. You know what I mean? That's a great thing. So little things like that, if somebody's watching this and you're struggling, find those little things. Give as much as you can give possibly before you ever expect anything in return. Right? If you give so much value, naturally, it just works in a circle and it goes back where you send it, right? And it's kind of interesting, too, that you shared, like, our lifestyle. So we grew up in Scarborough. A lot of times I have people, oh, how could you get to where you are in life and this and that? And listen, all of us grew up in Toronto, where you consider a little bit rougher area. You know, to be honest, she was Rexdale. We were Scarborough over there. Yeah. And you kind of did your journey where slowly you went further and further from Scarborough, but one direction, and I went the other way. Yeah. I ended up going to Etobicoke, to Mississauga, to Kitchener, and then way down here, right? Yeah. And you guys went in the opposite direction over there, right? So it's super interesting to see that, right? And Catherine, you know, we don't have an association of realtors here, which I think is a challenge. You know, there's no uniform code of ethics. So therefore, the professional standards, sometimes they vary depending on who you work with. That's why it's very important for people to do an interviewing process, to check online and see the reputation, you know, to take their time and actually go to the communities, make sure they inspect what they expect. What are some of the standards, Catherine, you feel that you personally have, or that Realtor DR as a team has, that help ensure that our client has a smooth process?
I think we have our standards, obviously, you know, about us. We have a plan, we have a process that we have to follow. And I think that's really important, because it's like, we don't go in there with like a chicken with their head cut off. Like, we have a process that we have to follow. And I think like it's the guidelines. And I think that's what's more important as well. Just like he says, there isn't. So sometimes you talk to people and they're like, okay, we have this thing where we don't show, like, and I think it's great. Like, we show like 3 properties at a time. And I think that's so important, because once you see like 10 different property, you're like all over the place as a person and as a real estate agent.
Especially if they're unfamiliar with the area.
Exactly. And I think Bobby always says this, and it's such a really good quote. It's like, you know, sales are not done by chance. They're done by design. And I think that's, for us, and following the process is something that's really important, having that guideline for us.
Do you guys have any tips when it comes to a system or process when working with buyers or sellers?
We have a theory we like to follow, and I've learned this through quite a few businesses that I've owned myself. When you have something that works, you don't change it. You don't try to reinvent the wheel or create new products. You just enhance the product that you have. You add one more thing to enhance that, and every year you just ask people for more information. We took her mentor's entire blueprint that worked for him, top producing agent, 25 years in the business. We took his game plan, the way his follow-up systems. I love the way you say it, speed the lead. You know, get on the phone, call them, see what you can do, ask the right questions, because sometimes I'm not the person for you. And it's great. Let's just find that right now. You know, I'll ask you those questions. If I don't think that I'm a good fit, hey, I'm sorry. I might be able to refer you somebody, or I'm unable to help you, but let's get that out of the way. Let's see if we can help you. And then, so when you're doing that, you create your base systems. And then as you get busier and you start to build success in your company, you can't do everything. So you create processes of it. This is what I do. Here's my SOP, my, standard operation procedures. And this is the way I do it. And then you start hiring and you say, this is the way you're going to do it because this is what works. Yeah. Right. And then as you start creating these standard operational procedures, you're going to get input. Hey, I like to do this. And it's like, you know what? You never turn a blind eye, because the most famous saying, and I live by this saying, is from Ford. And it was, get the laziest person to do the hardest job. You'll find the most efficient way to do it. And it is a saying that I think all the time. No, but if you have, so he did it in, building cars, right? So he's like, let me try to figure out how to solve this really hard problem. I'm going to get this lazier person to figure it out, and they'll find a way to do it, right? So I try to think of this all the time. And whenever we have someone that works for us, whether it's admin, an agent, there's a few things that we do. We'll start, Jeff Bezos does this. You start at the bottom in your meetings. You go to admin and you say, hey, do you have anything to input today? Because if the CEO speaks, everybody feels uncomfortable to talk because they don't want to add their input. So you let the admin talk first. And you say, hey, is there anything we can do? Anything we can add? Anything that's going to make your life easier, or maybe something that you see? And they're going to say, hey, I see A, B, C, and D. I'd love it if we could do this. Then you're going to have your sales floor. They're going to come in and say, A, B, C, and D. That would be actually great if we could implement that. Then you're going to have some vet that's been there doing this for 25 years, just wants to be part of the new thing. And they're going to say, hey, you know what? Actually, when I worked at such and such company 15 years ago, we did something similar to that and it worked really well. Well, now your standard operation procedure is going to change a little bit. You're going to say, let's adapt, let's pivot, let's add that. So you're always evolving, you're always growing, you're always talking and communicating with everybody. Yeah. But to make sure that you're following your same guideline is that, we know what works. We've tested it. We've tried it. If you're a new agent, you get a mentor, you follow what they're doing, somebody that's successful. People love free work, so go work for free. It's going to add a ton of value to you, right? Yeah. But that's kind of the standard growth pattern for any company, really. And then you pivot and do it your own way, right? We're always going to kind of improvise and do things our own systematic way.
And you just gave me like a little aha moment, right? So with the quote that you shared, for me, I think it resembles with our team understanding you're listening more than you're talking.
Yes.
So really it's about them, it's not about you.
Yes.
And sometimes I listen to our calls because we have a CRM system where they record the calls, even myself, to observe them. And when I find that sometimes I'm talking too much instead of really focusing on what's most important to them, right? So actually being the lazy person to find the most efficient way is by asking the questions and then just digging a little bit deeper into that and them sharing with you everything.
And people love to talk.
Yes.
So once they start, it's just a can of worms, right? So yes, listening for sure is key.
It would be amazing. We started asking at the end, or trying our best to ask at the end of every meeting, okay? Once we recap, because we're always trying to take notes, okay? Because the palest ink is better than the strongest memory. And we ask them after we're done, does this match what you need? And did we miss anything? And number 3, do you have any other questions? And 9 out of 10 times, someone's like, yeah, actually, you know what? There is this one thing over here, or this is also important to me. So just by building the habit with the team right at the end of our meetings or our calls that we have, by asking that, it gives us one more opportunity to open the door and allow them that if we did overlook something, to put it back in front of us so that we really understand what's important to them, right? I'm talking to a lot of people back home. We have some clients who are mortgage brokers from back home in different parts of Ontario. I have a lot of friends who are in the real estate business. And, the last little bit, there's been, some up and downs in the Ontario market. But talking to you guys are growing with your team. And you guys are doing phenomenal, where I think a lot of people may be experiencing stagnant or even a dip in their sales. You guys are crushing it. Are you guys noticing any market trends, or is there something that you or your team kind of can look at and be like, this is the reason why we're doing well in a market that's a little bit tough right now?
I'd love to take that if that's okay with you.
Yep, I'll chime in when it's right.
Okay. So we actually we're award winning in our brokerage this year. We've hit record sales. And our manager called us and said, how? Everyone I talk to is having a really hard time. How are you guys doing this, right? Actually, I didn't get the call. Lorraine got the call. She has a better relationship. So, the manager from our brokerage was like, Lorraine, how are you guys doing this? And I'll tell you, this is the best market because you have to work.
Yeah.
In the Ontario market from 2010, it's been this. Every house is, $30,000 to $80,000 a year. It's gone up, 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 up. So it didn't matter. Everybody, they sell their home. They're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. I made money. They don't care. But, COVID happened. The market changed. Most agents didn't know how to handle that. And it was like, okay, how can we pivot? How can we operate better, build more trust? Because it doesn't matter what market you're in, somebody has to sell. They got to sell, they got to buy.
Yep.
People have money, or unfortunately, events happen, loss of job, work, they have to sell. So how do we help them? How do we build trust? How do we educate them on the market? So we just have to work harder. That's all we have to do. So Lorraine and I took it upon ourselves and we said, okay, every single solitary day, we found our trusted sources where we're going to get our news. And we said, okay, 3 articles every day. You do 3, I do 3. Once a week, we talk about it. Where's inflation? What's the Bank of Canada rate? Let's talk to our mortgage lenders. Yeah, let's find that information out. Let's find out what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the Canadian market. A little bit of politics because it is important. And we'll follow all this so we have information. We know what we're talking about.
Yep.
And then we went ahead and hired the Tom Ferry coaching. And we said, okay, you know what? We need to pivot. We need to learn from somebody, a mentor that's been in this market. And when we hired up with Tom Ferry Coaching, they're like, all right, let's get you more business. And I said, no, we need to know how to maintain, grow our company in a bad market. I want a coach that's been there, done that, that's going to show us this. And I'll give you a golden nugget. You want a golden nugget?
Absolutely. That's what this episode is about. I think we're going to name it Golden Nuggets of Real Estate.
Well, real estate. So the biggest golden nugget in this market for us was, we call it our do not fire me report. Actually, Tom Ferry does, so I can't take that. He probably has a trademark, but it's your do not fire me report. Every single solitary week on Tuesdays, we created a don't fire me report where our clients, we created a list for them. And on that list, it showed how their property was doing on their ads, on their paid ads, how their property's doing on their realtor views and stats. It broke down everything, all channels their property's on. Then we also had comparable, and we do it for every property. There was at one point we had 22 properties up. Every property gets it. Our assistant's going to help us with the majority of it. Then we have to proof it. We show them the calls that we've been making, the effort we've been putting in, how we've been doing it. And it's all because we have a very organized, detailed automation system where every time I make a call, I just put it in there. So my assistant knows, okay, Mark made 15 phone calls. This is who he talked to. This is the feedback. They can grab that data for me, put it in the sheet. And then, so that do not fire me report sheet, we send it out on Tuesdays. And then at the bottom, it's like, yeah, have any questions on this? Give me a call. We'll explain it in more detail. Our referral numbers didn't double. They didn't triple. They quadrupled in business. And what was the biggest selling feature of that was
Communication.
my house was on the market for 6 months, but these guys let me know.
Every seller has 100% of the time, number one complaint is communication.
Yeah.
I love that. That is definitely something that I'm going to find a way to copy.
Yeah.
Put our own thing in there because that data is available to us now and we're very, very active. And I think that's an area that as a team we need to improve on is being able to have those professional conversations, right? And in our marketplace, they're saying that we use at Realtor DR, there's a difference between amateur and professionals. And I think the thing that you mentioned over there, which is really important, there's a big difference between being interested and committed.
Yeah.
And you guys doubled down on, like you mentioned, what worked. You X times the work ethic or the systems that you had in place to put that value towards your client, because when the market was having multiple offers and it was easy, they didn't even really need like a strong agent, to do it. You just had to come in and overpay for a property and you'd have a good chance of it. Now it's different, right? They're different type of conversations you're having with both buyers and sellers.
But the biggest thing with doing this that we found was on there, we're showing comparables constantly. So when the time comes up, it's been a few months, you have to have the price reduction conversation. We showed you the proof for 3 months. It's an easy conversation to have. They see it, they've watched it. And to be honest, 90% of the time they call us and say, hey, I've been looking at these reports. I think I need to drop it 50 grand or 40. Like, I don't even have to say a number, and then they'll fight you on it, right? It's not me. Trust me. I don't want you to drop your price. I want you to get the most amount of money you can.
Yeah.
I want the stats for us that we show we do well. We serve our clients. It's just the market, right?
Speaks.
So that is doing that for itself. So that's that information that was really helping.
Proof over promise. Like you're showing them real stuff, right? And I tell our sellers all the time, I'm like, hey, listen, we can think it's at this price. We can do our best to put it in front of many people as possible. But at the end of the day, the person who gets to decide on where the market is right now for your property is the buyer, right? So we have to understand that the buyers today, they're not looking for a good deal. They're looking for the best deal. And in the competitive marketplace, when there's other properties that are similar, you know, we have to think like a buyer. And if we were looking at these X, Y, and Z properties, are they even going to show up to your property to go and see it?
Yeah.
Right? Let alone make an offer on it.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's very powerful. And we're finding that now, like, we're not communicating every week, but I love that idea. We're going to put some support system for our team so that we can help them, because I think that's important, because if you are super active, there's no way you're going to be everything to everyone. Like, you need help, right? But being able to share that information with them, I think it's powerful. And I think what it also does is it creates accountability with you and the client, because if you say you're going to do something, even if you're doing it, but you can't articulate or show them that you're actually doing it, they may not know what's being done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I like the fact that provides accountability
In the back end. Yeah.
It's a common complaint you get in the industry. You know, it's like, oh, you guys make so much money and you don't even work. And it's like, because you know what? We were on the other side, right? We had agents, we were doing flips, and I'm thinking, like, you know, straight up, that's why she got into it. Cause I'm like, man, I'm paying all this money and, you know, this is crazy. Like, go get your license, do it, we'll sell it ourselves. And then when she's selling our first property, it was like, I'm like, can we go to dinner? And she's working like nonstop. It's like, I got to do this. I got to make this call. I got to talk to here. I got to speak to the lawyer. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, no, just you get an offer, you don't get an offer.
It's like when you see some of the guys on Encuentro Beach surfing, you're like, oh, that's so easy, man. Oh, yeah, look at those guys. It's just like turning and doing all this thing. And then you get on the surfboard and you're asking me, how long did it take you before you got on a smaller board? And I'm like, Mark, really long time. And it was super, super humbling. If you try and pick up surfing, like when you're like, the older you get, it's like learning a new language. It's a little bit harder, right? The kids, they pick up way quicker. But the older you get, you're like, oh my goodness, like it's not how it looks like when they're doing it. The people are really good. And I think it's actually very similar to real estate.
Yeah.
The better somebody is at it, the easier it looks. Where from the outside in, you're like, oh, you're getting all that for doing that. But they don't see behind the scenes and all the hard work and the planning and the preparation and the sacrifices.
The
like
sacrifices are huge. The missed birthdays, the missed dinners. Like, there's a lot that goes on that people don't see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, digital marketing for us is really big. We don't have an MLS system here. So we have to be really proactive to put like our brand and the lifestyle in the community in front of as many people as possible. When it comes to digital marketing, you guys are doing a really good job. I compliment you on that. How has digital marketing played a role for you guys in helping you grow your business?
You got to take this one too. Mark is marketing.
I like that.
Mark is marketing.
So what it's done for us is
it set us apart a lot.
But what we did and what we hear, I'm trying to say this the right way and I'm trying to slow down because I'm processing fast. This is what I'm very passionate about, is we came from, what we noticed is when you're going to get into an industry, you're going to do something, you're going to follow your competition. What's all my competition doing? You know, I got to understand what they're doing. How can I kind of change this a little bit? And when we first started with digital marketing, it was like, this is a kitchen. This is a living room. Check out this master bedroom. Trying to get myself in every fancy house I could to show that I'm a realtor and just get it out there all the time, right? And like, hey, you know, this is great. And sure enough, we would get messages. Wow, the houses you guys show are awesome. There's no sales, right? I'm just like, I'm showing cool properties. And then it's funny. So our house that we bought, and this would probably be the turning point, was our house. We bought the house because we were like, oh, this house solves the problems we need. It's near where we need it to be, blah, 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 blah. But we didn't even think, and in the industry, we didn't think, because we were fixated on the house, that our backyard faces east. So we only have sun till 2 o'clock in our backyard. We have no afternoon sun, and our bedroom windows are scorching heat. We can never have the windows open, and it actually sucks. And it's been a complaint that we've had for over 10 years. So I was like, Lorraine, it was her walking through a house. We were together, and I'm like, oh, I'll film you here. And I said, honey, and I pulled out my phone and I looked at the map, and I'm like, this backyard faces north. They're going to have sun all day. And she's like, yeah. And I go, and it has a pool. You should talk about that. That was the turning point. She talked about it. And like, this was like, we're talking 500 followers, maybe she had 1,000 followers, and wake up in the morning with 11 comments. I didn't even think about that. That's a thing. So it was like, okay, let's talk about that some more. And that's all we talked about for a little while, was just the way the backyard was facing.
Or the things that people aren't thinking of, because it happened to us.
Yeah.
We were victims of it. So,
and then the comment ratio started going up, and it was like, okay, the next house we go in, let's picture, and this was conversation we had. Okay, if we bought this house, we have a family of 4, let's sell the families. Let's find our target audience. Let's sell what we're doing. And then we would find that, how would we use this kitchen? Where would our kids sit? Where would you cook? If we had the family come over for Christmas dinner, what would we do? We started talking about that.
I love that.
And then 1,000 followers, 1,500 followers, 2,000 followers, people coming. Now buyers are coming in. Hey, I want you to show me properties. I love the way you look at things. I want somebody, I know there's a kitchen there. Can you
have a hard time visioning certain things. So it's our job really to help them envision, like I said, the things that they aren't noticing off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, cooking dinner and hosting a huge party. Will my family of 25 fit in this dining room? Like that is important if you want to host, right? So.
And then we would find out other little things like, you know, and then we started just giving information. We would show a townhome and we'd be like, oh, this townhome's beautiful. It's in this awesome neighborhood. But I also want to let you know, parking is a little hard on this street. Every home here has 2 cars. Every family, it's all families on the street. So if you're looking for a family gathering, you might have to park at the school down the street. Wow, thank you for that realistic information. We appreciate it. We're just building trust. But it's not that we're doing it subconsciously or like sales pitchy. I'm just letting you know. These are common problems that we're noticing, and we just kept being more organic and more real. We actually stopped doing the high production videos, and we just started grabbing our phone and just talking to the camera. Like, let me tell you what's happening right now, real time. This is happening right now.
It hits people on a different level.
You'd be amazed, but a lot of our best performing posts are, you know, with Joey helping us out, but with an iPhone. Like the newest iPhone and going around, maybe a gimbal. Like you don't need high production, you know, all the materials to bring value to people. Like there's a time and place for that, obviously, like depending on the property or what you're trying to bring to the public. But the most important thing is just making sure that people know what you do and the little things that make big differences, like you mentioned over there. Now, when it comes to consistency, walk me through what a week would look like. Like do you have a goal or do you have it planned in advance as far as what you want to do? I know you mentioned bringing in market insights and talking a little bit about rates. I've seen you talk about a little bit about like what's going on in your local market. What would a normal week look like for you guys as far as your goal to be with digital marketing?
So we have a promise. It's 3 to 5 reels every day. Stories. 3 to 5 stories every day. We like to show our family. We're human beings. I show you like, hey, middle of the day, pulled my kid out of school, went to the zoo. It's what we do. We've been so busy with work, so I needed this family time. We like to show that we're real people and not robots, that we're like workaholics, because I don't want to be a workaholic. But for reels, I try to do one every day if I can. We promise ourselves. So Lorraine's not as active as I am, but she promises herself 3 a week for reels. And we say that there has to be one market insight in those reels, that we have to talk about the market a little bit. That's always the one that's a little bit kind of like hard for us to stay on track with. But the other ones are, because we are functioning in real estate every single day, it's easy to do them. And we used to script them. So we used to write them all out, and we'd write like, you know, a month in advance.
Like
and
mass produce.
But you know, you're on CapCut and you're like, and blah, 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 and you're a robot.
Genuine.
No.
Yeah. So we're out on showings and we're out in the neighborhood of certain communities we'll stop at the local florist. We'll have a conversation with the local bakery. So it's things like that that show us that we're real people and we're a part of the communities that we work in.
And the nice thing too is you're getting a phone call or a conversation every single day.
Yeah.
So you go out with a client and it's like, oh, what about this? Perfect. We just had a client ask us, what happens with this? You know, they want to put in a gas range. Absolutely. Let me explain how that works to you, right? And it's just like, wow, I didn't know that. You know,
That's a good one because a lot of times with new construction here, they use propane, not natural gas. So they'll get it delivered and they need a conversion kit. Yeah. So it's like these little things like just helping our agents know that this is coming. Like imagine getting a stove, you're excited to cook, and then you're missing your conversion kit to connect your stove. And they have people coming over at 5 o'clock. Yeah. Imagine if you're like, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we had, and this wasn't intended to be conversion at all. I had a client, brought him through a house. So our standard practice, here's another golden nugget for all of you listening. Our standard practice is you see so many people book a showing the day before close.
The buyer visit.
The buyer visit, right? So their buyer bought a property day before close. Oh, let's just go make sure the house is good. We don't do that. It's usually 3 or 4 days before. The reason we do 3 or 4 days before is we go in and we say, okay, me and the husband, we're going to go turn on the washer, quick wash, quick dry. We're going to preheat the oven. We're going to turn on the AC. We're going to turn on the heat. We're going to literally turn on everything. We're going to crank every window. And, you know, if you want to bring your mom or the kids, you can go do that. But we're going to go make sure that we're doing this. And the wives are included in as well. I don't want to say just me and the husband, but we run the whole house.
Yeah.
The reason we do this is because if the stove isn't working and you find that out the day before close, it's hard. But we find out 4 days before, it's like, okay, we're going to hold back funds until you replace the stove. Yeah. We tell the lawyer, right? So I shot that on social media. I just said, hey, I'm here with my client. This is what we're doing. I had, don't quote me on the number, but I think it was 35 or 36 people. I wish my agent did that for me. I never knew that. I got screwed on this. I got screwed on that. I'm out this. I had to buy a new TV. I had to buy, you know, it was in the offer. It doesn't work, blah, 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 which ended up converting. It was my highest converting post. It turned into 5 deals, 3 sellers, 2 buyers. Wow. And it was not intended to convert at all. It was just being honest and saying, this is something that we do for our clients. You know,
no, I love
should be common.
We just recently ran into a challenge where it's similar, a little bit different. And today in our sales meeting, one of our associates asked us, like, would you advise people to get a home inspection? I said, absolutely. I said, for a couple of reasons. I said, number one, you be very transparent with the sellers and say, hey, listen, we're getting a home inspection done. Okay. We understand that, you know, it's not going to be in perfect condition, but if there's some findings that we find, we'll present the report to you and we'll ask you either to remedy it, okay, or to credit us and we'll take care of it. Yeah. And we've done that in the past and I've yet to have a seller that was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Or I said, if we're representing a seller, why not suggest to get a home inspection from the beginning? Okay.
Yeah, also good
and then remedy it yourself or provide it to whatever buyer agent is coming and being like, this is where we are with the home. Yeah. That way there's no surprises. So this is something that we're learning as a team and that we're growing because we want to make it smooth. We want to make it transparent and we want to make sure that there's no hidden surprises in there, right? Going to the digital marketing, Catherine, so your first full year in real estate and throwing you in front of the camera. Today's a perfect example of it, okay?
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's a little bit nervous or shy to do that? Or what's it done for you? Like, how's your kind of transformation been from like your first video to where you are today?
Oh my God. I think it's, well, first of all, we have Joey and Hedwin who are great. But I think it's more just comfortable and like what Mark says a lot is just like, man, just be yourself, have fun with it. I think it's what worked for me. At first I was like, oh, it's not going to be perfect. Or if I messed up, I was like in my head a lot. But now I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? If we mess up, we just start all over again. And people like that because when you talk to people, like they're like, oh yeah, I know who you are. Like I seen your video. Like they can put, what my client said, he's like, I can put a face to the name. Yes. So it's nice. And I think now all of us are on Instagram. We look at things like when I order something on Amazon, I'm checking the reviews. So people like to see who they're talking to. Yeah. So I think the videos is really good.
My favorite reels, and maybe this is just my personal one, are the blooper reels.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We have a couple one. When we hit 50,000 followers for Realtor DR, we already been having a collection of blooper reels that I told Joey in our content team.
Yeah.
Like once we hit 50,000, this one's going out and it's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
Like anyone who knows us and they're going to watch these blooper reels, they're going to laugh their head off.
Yeah.
They are super, super
Well,
funny.
the first one we did was so funny. Remember when we did those when we were good? So we're excited.
Well, we got a whole new library.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's not a one-hit.
No.
I mean, I will take credit for sometimes it is.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
It is. But like you said, you just do it again.
Yeah.
You just, and I mean, the photographer also makes you
Yeah.
feel, the photographer's huge. If they make you feel comfortable,
Yeah.
then it's easy and it's organic,
Yeah.
right?
And shout out to Hedwin for always making sure my hair is behind my ears. He's always like, your hair looks better back. So it's nice, you know.
I've had some comments from my team and my friends. So the team was like, and when I first started doing them, because I was the type of person who was like, I'm not doing this. I'll lead behind the scenes and I'll do my best, but I don't want to be like in the forefront. And then I was like, man, if I have to ask people to do it, like as a leader, I have to do it. Like I can't expect somebody to do it and I'm not doing it myself. So I finally started getting in front of the camera and getting over whatever fears I had. But in the beginning it was like, man, you need to smile more. You look way too serious. So then I would make an effort to smile too much. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, now I'm smiling too hard. And then recently my other friend's like, man, you need to blink more. He's like, have you watched some of your videos? It looks like you're like AI. So now I'm like, Joy, am I blinking enough? Like when I'm doing my reel? Yeah, I'm trying to emphasize, like throw a blink in there. You know what I mean? And I send the video back to my friend. I'm like, did you see that blink? Did you see that? He's like, yeah, I saw the blink. That's a good one, right? So these little things as you start breaking through, you know, fear, false evidence appearing real, right? And it's just like, let me just get in there. Let me do it. If you have like somebody who's helping you with it and their encouragement and they make you feel good about it, everything becomes a lot easier than if you just had to just discover it on your own. He's always guiding us and do this and say that, put your hands here. Okay, this lighting's better, that lighter's better. So
They're great.
He's our team's a superhero behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Now, sorry.
And then everyone, like all my clients, they love Bobby. They think he's like this famous superstar and they love all his shirts. So keep coming with the shirts, just so you know.
I only wear a black one today.
My client was like, no,
Those ones are classic too.
They're sick.
I have a collection of like my dress shirts, like a Rob
my
McGrath
client's like, I need to know where
collection.
my client Mo, he was like, I just need to know where he gets these. Like, I just need to do that. So they love
my
it.
mentors a long time ago, he said, listen, why fit in when you're meant to stand out? He's like, if you're going to an important meeting, like put on a shirt that's different from everything else so that they'll remember you. Even if it's the guy in that shirt, they still remember you.
Yeah.
Right? So I got a whole bunch of collections. A lot of them were long sleeve and I cut down to short sleeve, obviously, climate over here. But you buy a good quality anything and it actually works out to be more affordable in the long run, like shoes or shirts. So, you know, my collection is growing and the ones I don't wear that much, I donate after. And I'm trying to stand out when I wear one of those shirts, right? Now, we have the kids taking a swim behind us and they were just on the beach over here. Yes. I've already seen them go a couple tones a little bit darker with their suntan. Tell me about like traveling as parents with kids. How is that?
Oh, it's so fun.
You know what?
No, we love it. We love to give them the experience, right? We're fortunate enough to be able to take them everywhere that we've been able to travel. So, I mean, we love it. We love to give them different experiences. And I mean, here in the Dominican, the boys, they love the food. The food, they're like, it tastes so different, Mom. It tastes so fresh and organic. So, I mean, yeah, it's been great traveling.
Too. So
Yeah.
if you go somewhere and they don't like it, like then all of a sudden Catherine's like in panic mode, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, because nothing worse than not having your kids fed like that. Yeah.
The other things with travel, we, you know, I don't know, I think maybe we do it a little different, but we're very, very strict on they navigate by themselves. So like when we get to the airport, they figure it out. Yeah. We'll give them clues to help them.
Saw that one.
Yeah, we'll show up early. It's like, you know what? We're not in a rush. That's a very important life skill. Lorraine and I are very big on life skills. You know, just our family dynamic, the way we are, everything is like, they didn't ask to be here. You know what I mean? So we brought them in here. The least we can do is teach them to survive. So, navigating the airport is big. When we get to new countries, it's like, be aware. Look at people that you might think are shady. Ask us, do you think that that's okay? Look at restaurants. Do you think that this one's going to appeal to what you're looking for? Just things like that. So traveling with the kids is fantastic. And this experience this time around, it was really cool because our son got the opportunity to go with yours and like go right into town alone.
Yes, he had so much fun.
And then the younger ones were playing soccer with a bunch of other kids and SOV, body surfing. Yesterday, I heard about it. I got sand everywhere. It's all over my hair. Surfing, together and the beach is full of kids. And, one thing that I like over here, there's a time and place for technology. Right. Of course, like our kids are the same way, right? They have their Netflix and I think my son has this video game thing.
He does.
But they're pretty active.
Yeah.
And they're playing with other kids and they're outdoors. And that, when I see that as a parent, that makes me feel really proud.
Yeah.
Right. And your kids coming down here and like the first time they got to spend quality of time, they were totally fine.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. There was like, no big deal. And you guys are kind of like parenting style with us. You want to go to the park? No, is it okay? Yeah, let's go. Like, hey, is it okay that they walked home from the restaurant to our house? It's a gated community. But I'm like, Mark, is it okay if yeah, man, they're together. Don't worry. They're good, right? That's a really...
And I think they're like at a really good age right now where they need that independence, that they need to like...
Have to get...
Yeah, like what I mean. So like for them, it's like it's cool. Like, we ate and now we get to go home and be at home, with the kids.
Without
like,
the parents.
Yeah, like, it's cool, right?
But even at the surf camp where, you brought us to on the first day, it was awesome, man. Like there were so many families. We met families from Spain, from Germany, tons of Canadians, Quebec, Montreal, a lot of Americans. And I don't know, I'm a social guy. So I just started talking to people on the beach. I didn't have the stamina I thought I did. So I needed to it was humbling, but I'm taking a break. I'm sitting on the beach. My kids come in, your kids come in, you're out there surfing and they're right at it playing soccer with other kids.
Yeah.
And it's all these families I'm talking to, and I'm sitting on the beach with some lady and her husband, and they were telling me they were here from Montreal, and we were just talking, and I was like, oh, do you have kids? And they're like, yeah, they're over there playing soccer with the other kids. And I go, oh, my kids are there too. And which one's yours? And they were, and then I realized your daughter was there, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, they're there too, right? And it's just so nice, man. They're not coming in, going right on their phone. They're like, there's a time and place, right? When they wind down in the evening, no problem. Go do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're out.
And I think too here is always so nice. So everyone's like always wanting to do something, like, now.
Sunshine helps, for sure.
And
Sunshine helps.
Like Robert and his friends are always at Playa Alicia where they went. And it's like, yeah, can you take me to the beach? Yeah, because you're going to be going to the beach. Or I'd rather them be outside doing something than just at home and being on their video games or iPad or whatever, right?
Yeah, that was super important for me.
Yeah.
As a family, how would you guys define success?
Happiness. Happiness is wealth for me.
I personally don't like the word happiness. I like fulfilled.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yes.
Happiness is it's an emotion, right?
Emotion,
An emotion. You can't hold emotional regulation.
Yep.
But fulfilled, you could be sick as a dog and be fulfilled, right? So I love the word fulfilled, chase fulfillment. I think it's the core pillar.
If you had to rate time, wealth, health, and lifestyle, what order would you put them in?
Lifestyle over everything, because if you have the lifestyle, you'll never work a day in your life. Whatever your job is, you're maintaining a specific lifestyle for you. You're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to surf and then meeting your clients. You're fulfilled. Doesn't matter. Your time moves slow when you're, I like the word fulfilled, when you're fulfilled. When you're living the lifestyle every day here for you, I see you glow up. You'll take a client. We've had the opportunity to go to dinner with you and your clients. You're lit the whole time. You're not working. Yeah. You're guiding people, and then you're surfing in the morning and you're having a beautiful time with your kids and giving them a big kiss and saying, mommy's got to go to work for a little bit. I watched you do it. Mommy's got to go to work for a little bit. Daddy's right here. He'll help you out, but I'll be back soon. And when you come back, you're not like, oh, here's my boots. Oh, what a day, honey. Crack a beer. You're like, okay, what do you guys want to do now, you're lit, right? Because you're living your lifestyle. So all of the other things don't matter, you know, and I find that that's the problem is too many people chase money. And when you chase money, you lose your time and you lose your lifestyle. You're miserable. And you will make more money and you're going to buy a new car and it's just going to be another problem. The same problem you had with the cheaper car and the new house, right? You're chasing the wrong thing.
And in my older experience with some of my work environments I worked for really wealthy people and I didn't see the type of happiness.
The fulfillment.
That sometimes, when you define, wealth, maybe it's wealth of like how somebody feels.
Yeah.
Right? And being fulfilled and doing things that they're passionate about, like we've been able to find, and helping people and spending time and making experiences with your children and traveling different parts, For me, I think that's really, really connected, right? And being able to see both sides of that and hopefully through our family's navigation, find the right way to do that, right? What's been your favorite thing about your trip so far?
Ooh, there's so many. Obviously spending so much time with you guys. I mean, because it's been a while since we've been connected. So being able to spend some time with you and having you guys show us around to places that maybe we wouldn't have been able to experience alone. So that we've met some incredible people. You guys have introduced us to so many people, but I think the lifestyle too. It's slow paced.
Yes.
It's very slow paced. There's no agenda. It's just, there's been a great quality of life these past few days.
There was I don't know how to pronounce the name. We went to that crocodile place on the river.
Oh, yeah.
Tours. And we went there and the gentleman that Yuri that came out. So we had a video guy with us because we want to document this trip. And so he came out, he goes, "Oh, the video, let's go." And he put on a show and I am so grateful. That was within the first 24 hours we were here. And he goes, "You know what makes the Dominican Republic so special?" And like, man, I'm kind of emotional talking about it. He said, "I want to give you some food from my garden." I'm literally going to cry. He said, "I want to give you food from my garden. I built this whole place by myself." And he had like tires that people would throw out, cut up and made sculptures from them. He was so proud. He brings in so many people from the community, feeds like children that have no money. Like this, like what an incredible human being. Literally, what an incredible human being. But he gave us some food. And whether you believe in God or whatever you believe in, but God is, you break bread and you share it together. He welcomed us into his home, didn't ask us for one penny. Not one penny. Didn't promote his brand on the camera. Literally nothing. He didn't know us. We had no reservation, no booking. He showed us around, brought us to his garden and said, "Let me give you some real food from here." And you have a banana from here. We all smiled, like the sweetness, the taste. We had an avocado. It was like I've never had this in Canada. Ever. Like it was perfect.
Small things like that too that make a huge difference.
Guy, it was his words. My garden, I share with my new friends. Didn't ask us for anything, nothing. And just that's the savor and the flavor and the taste.
Oh,
and
the coconut? Oh, that was so good. The coconut?
He goes, "Oh yeah." And then Lorraine goes, "Can I have a straw?" And he goes, "No, come on. Yeah. You drink it like a straw person. Yeah. You're gonna hurt the earth, right?" But that set the tone for us. It really humbled us and said, like, this is where we are.
Yeah.
Like, it stopped. I'm so grateful
kids
that
were so engaged as well. They learned so much.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
We go at least once or twice a year. The kids either go with school or the Butterfly Effect, which one of our coworkers organized, a women empowerment event.
Yes.
They launched their stand-up paddle boards because it's on the river to the ocean, and 150 women like paddle out and they go from like point A to point B. It's like totally epic. And Rudy, he's like a little local legend here, right? Like he's been around from whenever, like for so long, and building his paradise over there and sharing it with everyone. So like, what a blessing. Phil knew exactly where to take you guys. I really give you something real. And hey, we did the all-inclusive stuff for years, like me and Catherine, the kids, and I get it. It's nice. Don't have to do any dishes, beds are made, and I get it. But there's something about this side of traveling also that means something special, getting to know the people and seeing what the culture's like and tasting the real food. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about a lot, but when they come here, they're like, wow, like it's different. Like the meat tastes different.
Yeah.
Like avocados, mangoes, bananas, like all of those are on my property. Like every time I pull in and I park my car and I see our mango tree that has mangoes on it, I swear to God, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It puts a smile on my face. Like those mangoes taste better than any mango I've ever had in my life because I've watched it grow from there. Yes, I ain't passionate about the mangoes because it was a dream of mine. Like, I don't know, back in Toronto, like we were lucky enough to have an Italian neighbor and he would always share his
wine.
And he would always share his stuff with us and it was like delicious. Like if he had a zucchini and we made zucchini pasta, it tasted better than any pasta I had in the world. So like being so close to like the core and the earth and abundance, like when it comes to food and stuff like that, something spiritual, there's a connection with it. Like you mentioned, the breaking of the bread. And Dominican culture is like all of my friends here that we've been lucky enough that are part of like our extended family, no matter what they have, if they have food and you're beside them, half is like, here, let's eat together.
Very good.
Right?
I think one of the things, and then this will be like open as a family, we go to resorts because it's safe. We know what we're going to get. I look at the reviews, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, whatever it is that we're going for. We know what we're going to get. I see what other people have. And coming here, the only reason we would have done it is because I know you. And I'm like, okay, if he's not going to steer us wrong, if he's going to tell us it's safe, we're safe. And it was a question I had asked you multiple times. Lorraine was, mama bear instinct. We're coming with our kids. We'll be okay. But our kids, we have to make sure, right? Is it safe? And that's a question, Lorraine's like, I'm putting all my trust in you. Are you sure? I'm like, I trust Bobby with my life. I've known the guy forever. He's not going to guide us wrong, right? And when you first come down, your guards are going to be up. We literally have been in the town. We've been walking. We've been at the stores. We've been at the malls, local restaurants, local markets, everywhere with the people that live here, not just tourists or expats or anything like that. And every single person has been extremely welcoming. There's like first thing you'll see like tourist police driving around, they're not everywhere, but you'll see them enough where you feel like, if you were to feel unsafe, you see them. So you're like, okay, well, I know somebody's got my back. But people wise, we've never once had any sort of feeling that like, okay, this is uncomfortable or we shouldn't be here, which is the biggest thing. And I think that the more that can be shared for a specific place like this, people will start thinking outside of the resort life because what this has to offer is incredible. Like you will not get, I can be in a water slide place one day, then I could be at the gym, or I could be at a cool Ocean Village beach house, or I could be at an organic village or surfing or 6 different beaches within a few minutes.
Yeah.
When I go to a resort, they're like, okay, well, hop on the travel bus. It's only at 6 a.m. and we're going to drive an hour and 45 minutes. We got to be back at 2.
I feel like when people don't get me wrong, resorts are great, whatever, but I feel like you don't really get to experience the real Dominican. There, like you get one night of the week in a resort where it's like a Dominican night, but as you're here, you get to experience the real Dominican. Like, with some of my clients, that when we go out and stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, that person has a washing machine on a motorbike," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's nothing." Like, you'll see a lot of things, so you get to like the same thing. It's like people are like, "Oh my God, like this happens." Like, I never really seen this. Yeah, but you go from on a bus to a hotel back to a bus. Yeah. If you don't do like any excursion, you don't really get to see anything. So I think like. Outside of the resort,
narrative is changing.
Yes,
because and I say that from our experience, from like your experience, and some of my other friends who've done the same thing, and our clients is like a lot of times when people are discovering like the DR for the first time, they go in the all inclusive, right?
Punta Cana,
and slowly they start experimenting. They do a day trip,
yeah,
and then maybe they go out at night for like a dinner outside of the hotel. And then what I'm starting to see now is that people are starting to explore and do an Airbnb, and it could be in touristic areas like Punta Cana, Las Terrenas, Puerto Plata, Cabarete, Sosua. And after that, they're going into like an Airbnb, and they're starting to ask questions. They're like curious. And they're like, wow, how much is this? How much does it rent for? Ooh, okay, hold on a second here. So you're telling me that this is possible, and it's created a lot of curiosity with people. And I know that you guys have been here for, the past 4 or 5 days, but you've already had a lot of people like, you guys are in the DR? What's that all about? You know what I mean? Tell me more, and the one, I think, big advantage that we have over here in the market is the acquisition cost is significantly less.
Yeah.
And, for us coming from Toronto, a market where detached homes, I think on average are like $1 million, that's really tough.
Yeah.
Like that's really, really tough. And you see people moving outside of the city, or if it's an investor, it's like hard because like then you're going to B or C lenders if you're trying to expand your portfolio. Where here, you can still get, properties for $100,000 or less. And, sometimes people ask me, when's the best time to buy real estate? And I always tell them yesterday or today. Right? The reason why being is that they're really not making any more land.
No.
And if we look at the travel and tourism numbers, Dominican Republic has had tremendous growth, consistent growth. This year, it'll be 11.5 million foreign travelers visit the island. We've had 2 million people come on the cruise lines.
Yeah.
They're having new cruise lines that are going to be extended stays. So they're spending like 2 nights here in the Dominican Republic. And I think slowly but surely, more and more people are start exploring outside of the all-inclusive.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a big portion of our growth is going to come. And I think the connecting factor is going to be the culture and the welcomeness that people have.
Yeah.
And when I talk to my friends, like, because we're in a touristic town, they're all for it. They're like, bring it on, right?
Yeah.
Bring on the people, bring on the more people who want to learn to surf. Come to my restaurant, eat this food, you know what I mean? Come to my house for dinner over here. Everyone's like ready, like with open arms and being like, come on down. And even one of my best friends, Danny, I'm pretty sure you know Danny, took me like 3.5 years to get him down here. Within 4 months, he was back with his wife and his daughter. He's like, once he got back, he called me. He's like, okay, Bobs, Laura's off school because she's a teacher on here. You think I can come down? I'm like, hell yeah. Book the ticket. I got you, brother. And then boom. And now he's already planning the next one. So it's like the one when you break free and hopefully most people have a wonderful experience. And then they're like, when's the next time?
Yeah.
And then hopefully maybe it's next time you guys come to visit, maybe it's with another couple.
Yeah.
Right? Another family. Right? And then hopefully it's on the calendar that where it's like, okay, this is like Mark and Lorraine's and families like trip that we know that, okay, our schedule needs to lighten up a bit because we need to be in the moment with you guys. So that being said, if you guys are watching it, if you've been curious, if you have questions, please, you can shoot a message in the comments there, or you can follow me on social media. I am there to help. And obviously, if you have any questions about real estate, me and my team are also there to help. So Mark, Lorraine, thank you. I know the boys are waiting for us. I know we have dinner plans after that, and tomorrow like a really cool day also. So this is the end of, I think, the agenda of things that we needed to accomplish. Podcast, check mark. Now,
Survey that.
there we are. Thank you guys. And we love you guys, and thank you for the trust to come down and spend your family time with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching.